I have a compass on my face. You can't see it. The camera has it. I don't use it on the other phone, although I have the same camera. The only time you can see the compass is if you use the screen recorder. And that's where you find a lot of the strangest difference between your phones, how they work. This phone is completely doesn't work anything like the other phone that I have, which works much better. It's faster, it does stuff, but it has its own problems. And it got an update last night. They immediately threatened me with the update, and I've agreed to be given the update, but I will not accept it by pressing it. And I know that this agreement has occurred halfway internally and externally, because I know they'll do it when I sleep, which is like agreeing to it without agreeing to it, because that's when it happens. They did it last night. Now the phone will not turn on, which pisses me off. I mean, there's 100,000 things that can piss you off, and that's whatever, that's life, right? When the 100,000 things turns into 50,000 because things that used to piss you off don't even bother you anymore, then you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. To get internal peace is to be sitting on that mountain and get in those questions answered by the man upstairs, whichever one comes down to the mountain for you. Whichever one. There's so many weird little things. Like when I stepped on that thing that stabbed the shit out of my foot, that's a miniature spear, some sort of Harbor Freight pick tool set. This metal fucking picks like this, different ends on them for doing different shit. They're not very strong. Like if you can go to bend it, you can bend it. So it's not very sharp, there's only limited shit you can do with it. But it wasn't within 10 or 15 minutes that something was playing on the YouTube, and I was listening to it, and it was talking about Romans setting up spikes to stab infantry. And I was like, motherfucker. And I knew somehow it was connected, but I was kind of shocked too to actually hear that come out. I had a fucking piece of metal suspended in foam that had to be pushed into it, and then the cushion was just like, what are the odds of that, honestly? Because I was looking on the floor for what it was that stabbed me, and when I reached over to I'm on the floor now, girding my foot, holding it from the blood pouring out of me. And I was like, what the hell, where the hell is it? And when I reached over to the cushion, I felt that sharp tip when I pressed down on it, because like I'm patting around. I don't expect there to be a fucking knife blade inside of the cushion. And that's exactly, and it was straight in there. I pushed it down and I pulled it. I was like, what in the fuck? And it was on. It was on from there. And I got my stigmata, and I was in the altered state. And I still am, kind of, in a way. The Lord has many different ways to get his people to pay attention. For the Christians that believe that they had him nailed on a cross, that's a really strong persuasion for us. If you look in the Bible and you see all the weird shit about the different followers that would be crucified, one of them upside down, it's because they must have experienced their Lord being hung on a cross. They must have gave a shit about that guy that was hung on the cross, or they'd had to write that whole fucking story like that. And I don't think somebody's written an award novel. But I do know that they twist and change everything around and mess with all the scriptures are messed with by people that can mess with the Bible. Anybody that can read and is trying to make the world for the people who can't read is usually trying to make the world better for theirself and not the person that can't read. That's the human tendency. We haven't gotten out of that yet. I mean, on one hand, you should be rewarded for your abilities, but when you start taking your own reward because you don't feel like you're justly paid, that's not right either. And that's sort of like the spirit that's over the world right now. There's a lot of people doing a lot of work that's not getting anything for it. And you won't do in that situation. You won't your whole body will fight with you when you're in a state of trying to put forth effort that is necessary, that is needed, and it's just destroying you. Your body will not, your mind will break, you'll have a triple break sensation, because you may try, your mind can push the body all the hell at once, but the body will break at a certain point. It won't let you do certain things because it's keeping you safe. Very interesting having a body and a mind and a soul. There's a lot of people that are just living from their body consciousness only. They only know that they think that they are their body, and they are not. You're related to your body, your family, and your soul can't even have your body in it if you're not the right sort of family. That's why the DNA and genetics matter so much. But there's so many weird things going on with whatever it is with the aliens. But we're talking about a world where there's already some sort of artificially intelligent structure, like a soul, that's like the gray aliens or something. It's something that it has to have a special body to go into, that you can think of that as like a robot. You know, humans are not robots. We're not slaves either. And there is something outside of all this that is God, but the inside that we're in is some sort of something else you need to break out of. But you have to break out of it in your mind. You have to break out of it in your soul. And then your body will get out. And you'll probably die. We'll probably all die. Some people don't think they'll ever die, and some people don't think their loved ones will ever die. There's no illusion of that being the case. But you have to make yourself aware of the pressures that you feel, where they're at, and then respond properly without being reactive. And it's not always easy to do that, especially when you have real abilities to do things and you don't have the space to perform them. There's a lot of different dynamics that just make people not able to function, you know. And the sad thing is about these younger generation of people, it's like their soul is created to have an environment that they're not in. If they come in and they get their body and they have their body, and now they're being indoctrinated to think that they're this or that, then that's the front of the war. You know, indigos were supposed to come in and make a world social situation where they could incarnate, so you can see where that battle was lost and where it's being fought. Because those kids are now fucking identifying as not what their body was. And the soul doesn't come into a situation like that. Your soul does not come into your body, and it's not your body. Something's wrong with it. Nobody gave you a wrong body. God didn't mess up your body. He didn't make you a woman in a man's body. That's all lies. That's lies. That's a fucking lie. Because that's like what I said with the agreement of the phone. It's like, I'm not going to update this, but I'll accept that they're going to do it at night, because that's the same game the communication devices are playing. Because they're from the phone, from the device standpoint, it's getting really close to being something that would walk next to you and not be in your pocket. That's the way they want it.